computer.
Zoom meeting. Zoom meeting.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I am so excited to be back. I haven't done one of these episodes in a while because I love to find high quality leaders, entrepreneurs, somebody that's gonna bring a powerful, really inspirational story that's driven, that's local out there in the community, guys. So I was really excited about to introduce this great guy I just met. His name is Clifton Pope, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself here in a second. He's a young entrepreneur. He wants to help people with uh, wellness, fitness, and support the young people in our community. So Clifton, please tell us about yourself and take it away.
Well, Lino, it's an honor to be on your little episode first and foremost, I should say. But as far as a little bit about myself, basically what it is that, of course, I was born and raised here, Corpus Christi, Texas, and what really kind of got me into doing what I'm doing as far as what health, fitness, wealth business is kind of just my own little personal experience as far as just trying to be as healthy as I can be, and of course get myself out of the whole little debt that we all have to deal with and stuff like that, and just taking what I do and seeing if there's someone out there who's going through the same situation that I'm going through and trying to let them know, hey, this is how I did it, and I'm hoping this is how you can do it as well, But overall, as far as myself, it's just, yeah, I mean, I take my health very seriously. I take finances very seriously and trying to keep that in order as much as possible, for sure. Yep.
And awesome, Clifton. So appreciate you introducing yourself, man. And that's why when I met you, I was like, this guy's it. You're the kind of people that I want to surround myself with.
I appreciate it.
I think it's no, you got it. I think it's so important because I listen to a lot of audios, and do my best to listen to read books as well. And man,
Me too.
I read this. I was listening to this great audio today, and it was from Jim Rohn, and it said, we all must suffer in life, but you can suffer. There's the pain of discipline, or the pain of regret.
Yep.
Which one are you willing to go through? And that's crazy because I feel like you can relate to that. We can decide to forget about our finances or about our health, and we're gonna regret it later and go through something, be overweight or be in debt, or we can choose to be disciplined. It's kind of it's not.
It's kind of just having that little discipline and just being having that mindset of, I kind of look at it like this, one of my favorite basketball players of all time, and basically one of my favorite people of all time, God rest his soul, is Kobe Bryant. And his little thing is Mamba mentality, which is basically being the best version of yourself that you can be every single day. And that's kind of one of the main messages I kind of have within HFWB, because it's you can find room for improvement every single day, not just within your health, within your money, but just overall within yourself, because it starts with knowing yourself and knowing what you're worth in order to produce the best results in all the other aspects of life.
Man, that's awesome. You know what? I was a huge Kobe fan as well.
Yeah.
There is a couple of books that he has out, and right there along, what's surprising is that, he was an aggressive basketball player, super disciplined. I've read about him, and Mamba mentality sounds so, aggressive, so kind of determined, never, just determined to win. But I want to say that when I also, kind of read up a little bit more about it, it was literally just like you said, just try your hardest, or try your best every day.
Yeah, definitely.
It wasn't really go hard or go home. The mentality is just do the best you can every day and keep getting better. And that was fire to me.
It was. And it's just he was just, like you said, just a very hardworking individual, and probably the most hardworking basketball player of all time, even than the great Michael Jordan. And even he said it himself. It's there's nothing Michael Jordan's trainer, Tim Grover, who also trained Kobe, even said it himself. This guy will literally work his ass off and work as hard as he can just to get to where he needs to be, versus Jordan basically saying, I'm going to work hard, but I'm going to have a limit. I'm going to be in control on how hard I work. Kobe, he just nonstop working hard, working hard, working hard. It's like it never stopped from him. It's like he would get up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, go work out. And it's like, dude was crazy for that. And just watching his YouTube videos, watching like all his little messages that he has within those videos, that's what kind of gives me the inspiration to kind of like, okay, even though I'm not where I want to be, there's still how much more I can get to, you know? That's kind of
And
the mindset that I have within my, not only within my personal life, but within my brand as well.
man, Clifton, you're speaking my language right now. Like, cause I want to say, like, he's definitely like in the books I read about him, he's like broken that down. Like Kobe was relentless. He had this crazy like schedule. He was all like a creature of habit. Like if you really want to get specific, I read when he like described his whole training regimen. He would like work out Monday, Tuesday, then take Wednesday off, then Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
Wake up early, weights, then like hit free throws like crazy. And I love that you spoke about Tim Grover, because when you dig deep, not deep, just a little bit into like leadership and like success, like Tim Grover pops up. He's the elite, kind of therapist and coach for Kobe and Jordan, and that's huge. And like he's spoken about a little about Curry, and like so when you're talking about high level performance, he's also your guy.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely, and I take that to the core, and that's kind of how I'm trying to find different ways on like, how can I help HFWB grow? It's like there's so many things that people don't even know that I have like cooking in the back burner for at least going into next year. Like I'm looking to put together like a program and stuff as far as like developing like little courses and stuff based on like the things that I kind of say and stuff, like because I talk about it on my podcast. It's like, eat to like live, not live to eat. Like I want to put together a course on that. And then of course, just increasing your muscle to build your hustle. Like every little slogan that I'm literally saying, I'm literally going to turn it into a course going into early next year. And also my personal favorite, save to invest to build. That's going to probably be like the number one course that I'm going to start working on probably within the next few weeks, if anything. So there's a lot of stuff that people don't even know that's coming, but it's like when it does come, they're going to be like, oh, now this all makes sense of what he's been saying and why he keeps on saying these certain things. Because I'm trying to get to y'all like, hey, this is how you need to do it. And I'm going to break down little guidelines on how you can do it within the form of a course. And it's not going to be like super, super expensive. I'm going to make it as reasonable as possible for people to sign up for it and stuff, just in case they want to expand their education and expand their knowledge and just gain as much information as they can. Because overall, I feel like information is really the new money. And the reason why I say that is because the more informed and the more educated you are, the more wealthier you'll be in due time, even before you have a lot of money. Because at the end of the day, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have the information to support it, it's useless. That's the way I look at it.
There you go, man. So I'm gonna take you back just a few seconds. I mean, just a few steps. So
Yeah.
So Clifton, guys, has a business. I believe it is called Health, Fitness, Wellness Business, guys. And so that's his brand. He's launching different courses and a brand and some clothing. And so why don't we just restructure the conversation? Why don't you tell us, Clifton, what is this business that you created? What made you want to build it? And what does it do? What is it?
Well, basically, what health, fitness, wealth business is, the whole purpose of it is to basically help people grow their belief as far as that with great fitness of their personal choice, and they can achieve the greatest, highest level of successes of health. And it kind of goes back to like, hey, going what works for you and stuff like that. And I kind of want to give that little personal guide of, hey, this is what I did to help make it work for me. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine, but I'm just leaving it out there like, hey, this is my own little personal guide of what you can do to get yourself on the right track to being the healthiest version of yourself you can be. And Same thing as far as with wealth. If you're struggling with money, your living expenses and all that, no problem. I have a little guide on how you can get through that as far as what works for me. And I get it. It may not work for you, but I'm just throwing it out there as far as this is a little guide and everything. But as far as what health, fitness, wealth, business is, I look at it more as like an online, I would say it's an online resource, kind of like an online thing to where it's like, hey, if you go to this website, you can get all this great, valuable content for free and great, valuable information that can help grow yourself really into the best version of yourself that you can be. It's kind of like, that's kind of the best way I can describe HFWB for the most part. It's a brand, it's a online business. It's kind of growing into a nice little community, and maybe it'll eventually become an empire down the road. That's the best way I can describe it.
Awesome, man. So what I take from it is that it's your brand. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna develop into a high producing business. Would you say
Yes.
you're gonna have like a website or a .org or a dot
Oh yes, yes. Oh
whatever?
yes, of course. That's where it all starts. You can visit healthfitnesswealthbusiness.com/CP, which is my initials to indicate that it's my own personal website to guide you into that direction for those who are looking to achieve, you know, new tips on how to stay healthy, new tips on how to build their finances and stuff like that, and just overall find themselves really. But you can go to healthfitnesswealthbusiness.com/CP. That is the official website for Health Fitness Wealth Business. I update it. I try to update it like at least every week to, of course, put my latest episode of the podcast, which you could also check out on there, where I talk about basically what the latest health and wealth trends and just give like tips on like personal development, inspirational, motivational type quotes and slogans and stuff like that, and tie it all together for sure.
Man, that is amazing, man. Like I checked out his website, guys, so it's incredible. And so the next
Mm-hmm.
question I want to ask is what I've noticed and what this vlog is about as well, is that
Mm-hmm.
leaders usually have a story. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
maybe like a hardship that they overcame or they just had a difficult past. People either went through a tragic accident or just had a life crisis or just like a big moment, maybe like just a big day. Maybe it wasn't something critical, but it was just like a moment or a big day, a story where they decided, hey, there's something happening in my life. I want to change this. And then you get inspired. You know what? This is so important to me that I'm going to start a business, start a brand. So you could describe to us, please, like what is this story that, because we want to, what inspired you? What was the moment, the story, or maybe it was like a couple of events in your past life or childhood that said, hey, maybe my family didn't have the best finances or health, and I want to be the one to lead.
There's a couple of things. Well, it kind of goes back to me just, escaping the old life that I used to live, which was, believe it or not, I used to be like the biggest party animal ever. I'm talking like always being out late at night, partying, going out to the clubs, coming home to like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And ironically enough, I was drinking a lot of heavy liquor and all that. Because and mainly what kind of sparked the whole health thing was one night I was drinking like I normally would, and I noticed that it was affecting my heart and everything. And I was just like, wait, I don't like the way this feels. So it's kind of like, yeah, I need to cut down on all that and just get myself back to how I used to be. So that kind of started some of it. And then if you want to talk about a hardship that I went through, I don't know. A lot of people don't notice, but when I was trying to become like a pharmacy technician, get my life together, get myself back on track, my uncle passed away. And it kind of just caught me off completely because I was like, I was in the middle of doing the externship and then this hits, and then it made me wonder, do I really still want to do this? But I'll never forget this. I remember the last time he was here visiting me in town, because he originally lived in Houston before he passed away. So when he was visiting me and I was telling him, oh, I'm turning my life around, I'm about to be a pharmacy technician, he just had this weird vision where it's like, you know what? I already see you doing it, man. It's already in the bag for you. And this is when I was still doing my externship. Like I haven't even taken my certification exam, none of that yet. So just seeing him tell me that, I was just like, oh wow. And then, fast forward, a couple years later, making money, doing all this stuff, I figured, is there more to it? I don't want to just be like everybody else and just doing the paycheck thing, and then looking at my parents and everything and their position. And it's like, I love my parents to death. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not trying to be like them working into my 60s and my 70s. And that just kind of sparked the idea of where I need to get myself in a position to where I can be financially free as soon as possible. So I figured, how can I do that? So that's when I kind of looked online, was Googling ways on how to do that. And then two words came to mind that kind of changed my life, which is passive income, making money in your sleep. So that's where I was like, how can I do that? Oh, starting my own brand, starting my own business. But what do I want to do it about? Well, what are you passionate about? Well, passionate about, I love working out, love eating right. I thank my dad for that, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even be nowhere near the capability of doing that. And then, of course, just getting myself together and just getting my money in order as far as, putting in the funding towards the website, putting together all the stuff that I use to do the podcast, and just putting all that together, and it all just started to click for me. Maybe I got something going here. And then before you know it, here we are. And with HFWB, slowly but surely, I wouldn't say it's in the beginning stages, but it's finally on the back end of the beginning stages, and it's finally starting to get its toes in the tub, so to speak. So it's a lot of things that kind of influenced it, but if I had to pick, those were the few things that influenced it the most.
Man, Clifton, thank you so much for just opening up and sharing those, because those can be some really personal
Yeah.
details about your life. And I take it that your uncle was also another really important fatherly figure that you looked up to, and then the things he said, he
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Yep, my good old Uncle Larry. He was definitely an influence for sure. A real great man, very misunderstood at times, but I always loved him. He was always one of my favorite uncles, and yes, I've learned a lot of things from him. And he definitely was one of those people who was obviously a straight shooter, told it like it is, and if you didn't like it, he was just gonna say, "Hey, it'll kick in eventually for you, and you'll understand what I mean by that." And he would always say that, and I'm just like, man, I wish I knew what he meant at the time. But when he told me that, I was like, you know what? Now I know what he means. You know, sometimes it's just one of those things to where it grows within time, to where it helps you figure out what it is that you're about. For
and
sure.
exactly. I feel like seeing relatives pass away is part of growing up, but they can
Yep.
make a powerful impact in your life. They can
Mm-hmm.
and they can create momentum for you. They can have those eye-opening moments where you say, you know what, this is that was the beginning and the end, and then
Mm-hmm.
they're gone, And so when you see that, you're like, man, I don't. You'll say things like, or it could be like that they're gone, no longer with us, or that they're
Mm-hmm.
in a certain position, like your parents mentioned, like where you realize, because we love our parents, we don't want them to keep on working. They've given us so much. So you kind of,
Yep.
I want to say like, I want to say most people would look at that and evaluate that and be like, man, how can I change my life? Because when I get there, I don't want to be there. I want to, and it's not like, oh, we don't, it's not as in like they made a mistake, I'm not going to make their mistakes. It's as in like,
Mm-hmm.
if there's better, I would love to do better, and I want to help them too. And I'm pretty sure that those are some of the driving factors for you as well.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I just want to show basically, I did something within myself, because that was one of their main concerns and everything. They were worried that I wasn't going to do something with myself. Now I'm just in a position to where I could tell them, hey, I did something for myself, and whenever y'all do leave this world, y'all don't got to worry about me. I got this. It's all under control. That's the best way to look at that.
Let's go, man. Well, we're almost done. I just
Yeah.
want you to close that out, letting us know um, what are some of the products you have, like your clothing, your event that's coming up. If you can repeat your website again so that people can like go find it. Where can we find more of you? And then how can we reach you?
Well, as far as products and services that I have coming out, like you just mentioned earlier, I do have my own HFWB shirts. If anyone is interested in a shirt and everything, they can personally hit me up on, of course, Facebook, or they can hit me up on my personal cell phone number, or, they can just, yeah, they can hit me up on my personal cell. They can hit me up on my Facebook. We can work something out. They can cash at me, at $CPHFWB. They're like $6 a piece, which is a very reasonable price for a good quality shirt. As a matter of fact, I'm actually working on my third batch of HFWB shirts right now as we speak. And hopefully they'll come in time within the next couple of weeks and stuff like that. So that's one thing that I have to offer. Then, of course, you can find my website, of course, healthfitnesswealthbusiness.com/CP. Once again, healthfitnesswealthbusiness.com/CP. And on that website, you can find like the YouTube version of my podcast, the HFWB podcast, which you can, of course, download on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google Podcasts. We're about like 16 episodes in with great content, a lot of motivation, a lot of the latest health news, what's going on with COVID and stuff like that, what's going on in the wealth and economy world, because one person I can honestly say who influenced me a lot in as far as in the health world, not the health world, the wealth world, I should say, is Robert Kiyosaki. He changed my life tremendously in seeing the bigger picture to what is there more than money. It's about being educated about it, and not a lot of people are educated on how to properly handle it. And I'm kind of like trying to take a page out of that book and let people know, hey, this is how you do that, so they can find that out a lot more as far as on the HFWB podcast and stuff like that. And as far as anything else that I have to offer, like I said, the HFWB program that I'll be launching probably early next year, which will have like the courses that I mentioned earlier. I'm planning on putting together maybe some educational games and stuff like that. And even putting together a little app where they can download all this stuff and have all this information right within the course of their phone. So that's some stuff that I'll be working on. And also, I'm even pondering the idea of maybe doing like a little bit of a children's book. That is a possibility as well, doing a little children's book, along with my other book that I'm going to be doing, which I kind of have a title, but I'm probably going to change it. But overall, I'm working on a book to which I'm basically going to discuss the origins of how HFWB started, where it's going, where it's going to be. That will probably be available next month. I'm going to get back in the lab and start finishing that up. I told myself I want to have it done by this month so I can have that out by next month and start pushing it and promoting it. So that's another thing that people can look forward to. But yeah, other than that, just more shirts. I'm also going to be working on a winter line as far as for the clothing and stuff, like hoodies, jackets, sweaters. I'm even looking into maybe, of course, having my own face mask line. And yeah, maybe I'm also looking into diving into headphones. I'm just constantly brainstorming as far as what kind of merchandise I can put together to, of course, get the brand out there and, of course, find stuff that's relatable to the people as far as the most popular products they can purchase.
Man, Clifton, it was a pleasure interviewing you, man. Thank you so much. I can see that you have a lot of great ideas going on. I'm going to wrap it up here. Man, guys, we got amazing clothing. I bought 2 of his t-shirts. He's got a black one and a white one with his Health Fitness Wealth Business logo in it. Only $6, and it's going for a great cause, supporting children in communities.
Yes, it is.
Communities that need support with like those that access to that information for health and financial education as well, guys. So great guy, Clifton. It was a pleasure getting to chat with you, and we'll see you next time.
Stop recording.